Curse number 11. Joshua was an innocent man who marched through the streets of Jerusalem and was met by an angry mob, showing you that in the last 400 years, the real Israel will be seen marching in the streets for things like human rights, civil rights, equal rights, justice, and equality. And what will happen? An angry mob will come against them. They will spit in their faces, scream at them, throw stones at them, hate them. Even the police force will sick their dogs on them while they're marching and tear gas them while they're marching. Even the fire department will mow them down with their fire hoses. This spectacle is called Joshua's Jerusalem Walk. Woe unto that generation. Curse number 12. They put metal and nails in Joshua's hands and feet. The metal in his hands and feet was keeping him down. What does it mean? That his bloodline will have metal placed on their hands and feet to keep them down also. Metal on their hands and feet like slave chains and shackles, all the way to police handcuffs, keeping them down, keeping them locked down behind bars. They will fill up the prison system. You see? Curse number 13. Joshua had his garments parted into 4 parts, and they did cast lots. Remember, we said the garments represent the real people of Israel. His garments were parted into 4 parts. His people were divided and scattered to the 4 winds, to the 4 directions. They were sold for the price of a slave, for money. That's why it says they did cast lots. Curse number 14. Joshua was hanged on the tree, on the wood. And we find out that in Galatians chapter 3:13, Galatians 3:13 says, "Cursed is everyone that hangs from the tree," showing you he was the curse. Therefore, you will see a 400-year history of the real Israel, where the same bloodline will be hanged from the tree like their Messiah. You see, their hanging will be so routine and so common that groups of men, women, and even children of the Gentiles will photograph themselves smiling while a member of Joshua's bloodline is seen in the background hanging from a tree. Woe unto this generation. Curse number 15. Joshua's real name was replaced with a Gentile name, with a European name. His real name, Joshua, was taken down and was replaced with Jesus Christus, and finally Jesus Christ. This shows that the real Israel will be identified by having a 400-year history of having their real names stolen and having their real names replaced with a European name also. They'll have names like Peterson, Stevenson, O'Reilly, Smith, Jones. They can't keep their real name because Joshua didn't keep his real name. Now, this 400-year period of affliction ends the same way as the 2 previous 400-year periods of affliction, with the 14 key events. And this is how you see Yahweh coming, by seeing where you are on the list of 14. So let's begin. Precept number 1. For the 3rd time, Yahweh must honor the threefold covenant and begin the process of ending the 400-year curse that began in the year 1565. Precept number 2. For the 3rd time, Yahweh must establish his real name and give his real name back to Israel, the real Israel. This occurred in June of 1931 when Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley was given a divine vision and revelation of Yahweh, Elohim, and Yahshua Messiah. Dr. Kinley then created a network of schools called IDMR, Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research. Now, this network of schools stretches across the globe, becoming the modern-day River Jordan. Now, for those who have an ear, let him hear. Dr. Kinley is the John the Baptist of this 3rd overturning. He's the John the Baptist of this 400-year period. Precept number 3. For a 3rd time, Yahweh implements Deuteronomy 18:18. This occurred in 1965. And remember, Deuteronomy 18:18 reads, "I will raise up a prophet from among thy brethren, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak all that I command him." This child was born in 1965, and he will soon be baptized in the vision given to Dr. Kinley at the appointed time. Precept number 4. For the 3rd time, Yahweh's return being near is revealed by the same plague. What plague? The plague were young males being murdered. You see, as we approach the 1990s, the killings of young males of the same bloodline heightened, and they were actually labeled endangered species. That's right, showing you that Yahweh is near. Precept number 5. For the third time, you must have links to Africa. The African links must be seen. And what are they? One is the murdered male youth who came from the African Americans. These male youth filled and flooded the grave sites of African Americans. And Dr. Kinley himself and the one born in 1965, they are all children of African slaves. They all share the same 400-year period of being hated, beaten, and hanged from the tree like Yahshua the Messiah. No coincidence whatsoever. Precept number 6, you must have the precept of a baptism for the third time. So when did the baptism occur during our overturning? Remember, Yahweh set up IDMR, Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research. He set it up to be the River Jordan. So on June 16th, 1994, that was my appointed time to hear about Yahshua the Messiah. I was 29 and a half at the time. I was submerged spiritually, not in physical water, but in spiritual water. I was submerged in the vision given to Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. And for 7 days, I remained submerged. From June 16th, 94 to June 22nd, 1994, I remained under the water researching the truth. Precept number 7. Remember, there must be the precept where I must take off my shoes. On June 22nd, 1994, after 7 days of research, I came up out of the spiritual water of Dr. Kinley. I researched the truth, and now I was standing on holy ground in the name of the revealed truth of Yahshua the Messiah, which means I cast off my old shoes,